Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the delay. First of all, before I start, I want to congratulate Ion, Ioleza, and the entire team behind the curtains for once again organizing an amazing event and proving that we as architects and engineers can share properly our ideas and our projects. The project that I'm going to present today is actually an architectural urban proposal for a city quarter in Skopje, in municipality of Kisalavoda, Rasadnik, which was basically organized, developed, and realized during the following the international guidelines from the municipality of Kisalavoda as an investitor. Basically, it is a project which me, together with my students from the Faculty of Architecture at the International Balkan University and a team of professors worked on. And this was an awarded project also by the government of the Republic of North Macedonia. Probably the biggest concern while developing this project was how to apply the international design standards and make a correlation, a fusion in between internationally accepted standards in architecture and urban planning and the local regulatives in our country. So basically the main concern was how to adapt and how to promote the sustainability and creating a comprehensive urban planning approach while developing the projects. The main goal was, as I mentioned previously, to create an architectural urban solution which will suit all the users. Before we start with the new proposed solutions, we needed to go a step backwards in order for us to realize what was happening previously. Skopje and the Republic of North Macedonia has a long established history in creating architectural urban proposals. Starting from the period of 1914 when the then architect of the Kingdom of Serbia, Dimitri Aleko, did the first architectural proposal for the Skopje. 9 years later, Jurukovski, as the main architect and mayor of Skopje in that period, created the first general regulatory plan of Skopje, and basically that was the period around 1928 when the biggest buildings, the most important buildings in Skopje, such as the Macedonian Parliament, the Skopje Zoo, the Skopje Park, the officer building, were created and designed. Afterwards, in the period, probably the most devastating period for my country was the period after the catastrophic earthquake in 1963, when basically Skopje was left like demolished and in ruins. That was the period. 1 year later, then United Nations developed and reclaimed an international competition for redesigning and rebuilding Skopje in order for us to create a fusion of the past and the future. It was Kenzo Tange and a Yugoslav team of architects coming from Zagreb, which did the architectural urban proposal for the new Skopje, based on the principles of two main elements, the city gate and the city wall. Basically, Kenzo's proposal, together with the team of architects, was to design a new Skopje, which will basically make a fusion in between local and international standards, following inspiration from the capital of Tokyo, which was Japan. Currently in Macedonia, we're facing like an issue. We have an issue with the general urban plan. We're following a plan which is like kind of expired, the general urban plan from the year 2012-2022, and hopefully the new general urban plan, which will basically cover the investigated area, will come in force from 2026. Basically, yes, we have a lot of challenge with the cancelled DUP, but now I will skip a bit forward in order for us to explain our architectural urban solution. The main idea and the requirements from the municipality of Kisalavoda was a quarter of the city of Rasadnik, for which the residents, not only of Kisalavoda, but from the entire Skopje, we used to say that it is the last green oasis in the entire Skopje capital. Basically, it covers around 85 hectares of surface, and it is divided into 4 important zones. The requirement of the municipality under the leadership of the then mayor Orce Georgievski focused on zone 1, which was probably a zone which needed to have a more detailed elaboration and a more architectural, not only a planning approach in designing a new architectural urban solution. The zone 4, which you're seeing it from my left side, was basically the light industry zone, which was required from our side to left as it is. And in Zone 2 and Zone 3, we made the kind of interventions. The first thing which was required for following the guidelines from Kiselavoda municipality was to create the differentiation of blocks. It means that we needed to keep the existing blocks as much as possible, but to have a deeper and more chronological architectural approach within the surrounding. As you can see here, colored with blue and colored with pink, you can see basically the heart of Rasadnik. The heart of Rasadnik is something for which we propose to have an artificial lake on which we promoted and we designed 2 artificial lakes, which will basically be put in the middle, because the Rasadnik Institute, which is located on the northern side, colored with green, was basically the site when where we wanted to make an interconnection, a bridge between the history and the future, in order for us to create something which was previously there. On the place where we created the artificial lake with the artificial islands, previously there was a water surface which were left there. On the image presented here, you can see the proposed key features in the new city quarter Rasadnik, and basically with number 1 and 2, the Agricultural Institute of Rasadnik, which is now after a process of denationalization, it was returned to the previous owners, is basically one of the most important and the only agricultural institute in our country. And of course, our proposals were with a color named with 3 and 4 were the new kindergarten and the new primary school, which we designed following the program requirements of Kiselavoda. The number 9, 8, and 10 are basically the residential buildings which were required for our site to be designed, and you will see them further more in details. And the number 8 are basically those living houses, the existing houses in substandard conditions in which the people are still living, and we added new, according to the urban parameters, we made a new intervention within that area. Of course, the lower part of the quarter was about designing a new clinic named with 6, and of course the 5, the new stadium which was proposed. In the first zone, Zone 1, you can see the botanical garden, the zoo, and the kindergarten, which were asked from our side to be not only just urbanistically proposed following the required parameters, but also developed architecturally. You can see here that basically there is a channel. The channel starts from the northeastern part, from completely opposite side, and it ends up at the Agrobotanical Institute. Providing such of wooden channels, we wanted to create more sustainable living spaces and to promote tourism in general, not only for the citizens, but also from the visitors from the outside. From the
2 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay, the residential blocks which we projected were named with number 4. Basically, there was a new residential block which was presented like a buffer zone in between the boulevard and in between the ponds which are outside. Of course, there were hotels, the residential areas which were designed properly, and in the lower part you can see the row houses, the houses with the terraces, for which we tried to improve those conditions, the substandard conditions in which they lived. Of course, what I mentioned previously, the primary school, the activities of the primary school are kind of connected with the artificial lake tourism approaches which we tried to develop. And of course, the open amphitheater and the green markets are something which we proposed in the lower part of Zone 3. Yes, the sustainability and mobility concept is something that I previously spoke because I don't have any time left, and the channel and the lake system was a way for us to create a more sustainable approach in redesigning the city quarters in general. This is how the entire solution looks like for the entire city quarter, for which I previously explained that it has a surface of totally of 85 hectares, and the Zone 1, which was architecturally developed, is around 25 hectares as well. Yes, the tree preservation, the sport facilities is something we tried to not only to dislocate, but we tried to keep them, and we tried to improve the conditions in which they're existing. Of course, last but not least, the outpatient clinic I mentioned, the mini zoo, the amphitheaters are the activities which were previously shown, and the pyramid of how we did the approaches is shown. The new proposed solutions, which was the awarded one, you can see it here. You can see it here, the pond and all the activities and all the buildings which were restored or designed from scratch. Last but not least, I will end up my presentation in the same way as I started it, to thank my team, a team of professors and students from International Balkan University, where I work, for having this amazing project. It wasn't easy. We kind of struggled with the deadlines, but at the end, with the team behind the curtains, we succeeded to keep the deadlines and to get awarded. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadica.